This is part one of The Troop by Nick Cutter. So comparatively to the last book that I read, which was Ritualistic Human Sacrifice, this book goes way better in a horrific way. So we start off the book in a newspaper article where Sarah, a waitress at a local diner, tells the Canadian newspaper, "Yeah, my truck was stolen after I served an individual at the diner. We're gonna call him Starvin' Marvin." This really skinny, thin, starving-looking, disheveled man walked into the diner one late night while Sarah was working. She served the man, and what was really odd about him not only was his size, but his zombified look. He came in, ordered 5 large breakfast meals, claimed that he was so hungry that when I came back with most of his meals, he was eating the napkins straight from the napkin holder. So he ate his meals, paid for his food, left, and when I went outside, my truck was gone. Who could have done this? Who is this man? Other articles that you might enjoy that were on the back of this newspaper was Cheeseburger Kills Space Alien. Beelzebub was captured by GIs in Iraq. Hellspawn Baby runs amok in public park. El Chupacabra drains toddler's blood in Tupelo. So this story takes place in Canada, in Montague. Heading to Prince Edward Island is the strange Starvin' Marvin man. He stole a boat off of the docks and was heading towards Prince Edward Island. He was terrifying looking. Emaciated, starving, like insatiable hunger. So hungry, in fact, even after all of those breakfasts, his stomach was literally splitting from the inside out. He was still eating the plastic within the boat. He was eating the cotton from the seats. And he was hungry. He didn't know why he was so hungry. And also at the same time, on Prince Edward Island, just docked was a band of Boy Scouts. A few boys from the age ranges of, I believe, 13 to 10. And their scout leader, Tim, who was a local doctor on his off time. He served in Iraq with Doctors Without Borders back in the day. This was their yearly Boy Scout trip where kids could earn merit badges and get away for a week. The boys looked forward to it, but Tim realized that I'm getting old and I think this might be my last summer doing this. I enjoy it, but the new generation of Boy Scouts that are coming along aren't as passionate about it. And these boys really show some drive where they do like the outdoors, but they're starting to get a little rambunctious as the generations go on. So I think I'm over it. I think this is a good send-off. Luckily, we're dropped off today, which is Sunday, I believe, and they're going to be picked up next week. One of Tim's friends, who was a local guy who owned a boat, dropped them off collectively on that Sunday. Unfortunately for them, there was a storm rolling in, so there's going to be high winds, a lot of ocean activity, and a lot of rain. They're hoping if the weather turns fine, they should just miss the storm. So Tim described to each of the boys that he was watching. There were 5 boys on the scout crew. There was Kent, who was a classy, jock type, school bully, bullied the younger kids, thought he was hot shit and he was tough, and he was kind of a douche. There were Max and Ephraim, who were childhood best friends, but they were polar opposites. Ephraim was hot-headed. He got angry really quick. He didn't know how to control his anger issues. And Max was just zen. He's vibing. He's there. He loves Ephraim, but he's like, he knows how to handle his angry spouts. And then there's Newton. Oh, sorry. Then there was Newton, who was, a nerd. Grade A nerd. A roly-poly boy with glasses who was bullied his entire life for liking nature and plants and nerdy things. It really separated him from the rest of the group. And then, of course, much like Laws of the Skies, it's very similar kind of format. There was Shelley, who was quiet, predatorial, a psychopath. He didn't know how to feel emotions, and he just made everyone feel uncomfortable. Tim was quite honest when he was describing each of the boys. He disliked Kent because he was a douche, and Kent's father, as a local police officer, was also an asshole. Tim was really uncomfortable around Shelley because there was something just off about him. Tim felt really bad for Newton because he understood that Newton was going to have a bit of a lot in life trying to get over the bullying and being treated differently because he was quite nerdy and he didn't really know how to operate in social situations around quote-unquote normal people. I feel that, Newton. Newton's my boy. Tim himself is about 40 years old and unmarried. He kind of wanted kids at one point, but he was quite okay with not going on with that future because each of his Boy Scouts over the years were kind of taking the place of being his kids. So he got to live out the fatherly duties of watching these boys over time, where this was his niche. He enjoyed it. He did really enjoy it. He was a good scout leader. So it was at this point where Tim heard the unmistakable noise of a boat coming onto land in the middle of the night on Prince Edward Island. He thought this was weird. This is not a public place. So the boat had to travel quite a ways to get there. So immediately he went to investigate. At the same moment, Tim quickly popped into the cabin to tell the boys to go to bed. All the boys were up telling scary stories about, oh, have you ever heard of this assassin crew in the Middle East that would come in and strangle you to death, and the only way they could tell if you were also a fellow crew assassin is if you tied your boots a specific way. And Newton got a little freaked out and they laughed at him, and Shelley was just sitting in the corner staring at them, watching them. And then Tim came in and he's like, yeah, fam, y'all gotta go to bed. It's a big day tomorrow. You guys have that hiking trip and you have a couple merit badges to earn. I'm gonna be outside real quick, and if you need me, call me. Be right. So the boys climbed into bed. Tim went down to the beach to investigate the mysterious boat that just docked. So when Tim got to the boat, he noticed immediately this zombified, horrendous looking man got off of the boat, and he looked crazed. His doctor brain went immediately into triage mode, and he's like, oh my god, well, what happened to you? Who are you? But he didn't give away too much information. He didn't know what this guy had or what he was doing there. He wanted to make it seem like he was there alone so the boys would not be put in danger. Who are you? Are you here alone? The man just nodded and he said, are you here alone? Tim just nodded and he's like, yeah, I'm here. I come on the island every once in a while. I'm doing geological research. Buddy, my guy, champ, you don't look good. You okay? And before the stranger could answer if he was okay or not, he bent down, picked up a handful of sea algae and sand and mud, and he just began eating it. And he was just shoveling handfuls of sand in his face, and Tim's like, buddy, you don't have to eat that. Are you hungry? And the stranger's like, yeah. You got food? I'm starving. Best part about Nick Cutter's writing style, it is very descriptive. So the smell of ketosis, death, decay, rot, the sickly sweet smell of human starvation and dying was eminent on this man's flesh.